Namaste. Thanks for stopping in today. My name is Nick, and I've titled this video or this practice Yoga for Guitarists, but really this practice can be useful for anyone that works with their hands very often. So, for example, if you're a chef or if you're on a computer all day and you feel like your hands, your shoulders get a little sore, this is a nice easy practice you can do towards the end of your day to kind of decompress from all of that. I have a block that I'm sitting on. You might like having a block or a pillow or something to sit on to cushion you at any point throughout the practice. So, if you want that, make sure you grab it now, and we'll get started in a seated position. So make any adjustments that you need to so that you can sit upright. And just clasp your hands and roll your wrists around a little bit, get some movement going in there. As you do this, start to deepen your breath a bit, lengthening the inhales out and slowing the exhales down. And as we do this practice today, just try to keep the breath the forefront of your attention with everything else we do. Extend your right hand out in front of you, turn the palm away from you, and with your other hand, grab onto your right pinky finger and gently pull back so you feel a stretch there. Soften down through the right shoulder, take a deep breath in. An easy breath out. We'll do that for every other finger as well. Ring finger, gentle pull back. Deep breath in. Easy breath out. Middle finger, and I like to think I'm pulling down and slightly, or back and slightly down rather. Deep breath in. Easy breath out. Index finger. Deep breath in. Easy breath out. And for the thumb, I like to turn the palm to face down, grab a hold of the thumb, pull away from the palm and back slightly. Stretch the other four fingers forward. Take a deep breath in. Easy breath out. Good. Then release that. Roll the right shoulder a bit if you need to. Give the hand a shake. And extend your hand out away from you like you're doing a side plank. Push through your palm, drop down through your shoulder, pull the fingernails towards the face. And then about 5 times, drop your left ear over to your left shoulder and rise back up. So that's 1. 2, you don't need to match your breath up with a movement here. Just move and breathe in a way that feels good. Go 1 more. And the same thing with the palm facing the body now, so the wrist is flexed. Push the back of the hand away from you. Drop right ear over to right shoulder. And back up. Right ear over to right shoulder. Back up. 2, 3 more times. All right, and then extend out through the hand, lower your right fingertips down towards the floor. For some of you, it might be good just to push the fingertips down and drop the head the other way. Otherwise, with your left hand, scoop just above your right ear and gently draw right ear up away from the right shoulder. This might feel good, tilting the chin slightly up to work more into the front of the throat, or tilting the chin slightly down to work into the back of the neck. Find a spot that feels good and take a couple more breaths there. And with the help of your left hand, push your skull back up through center. And let's do all that on the second side. Extend the left arm out away from you. Grab a hold of your left pinky finger. Draw it down and towards you slightly. Push out through the palm. Take a deep breath in. Easy breath out. Ring finger. Deep breath in. Easy breath out. Middle finger. Deep breath in. Easy breath out. Index finger. Deep breath in. Easy breath out. And lastly, the thumb. Deep breath in. Easy breath out. Good. And release that. Move the fingers, move the shoulder a little bit if you like. Then extend your left hand away from you. Push the palm out of the armpit. Pull the fingernails towards your face. Drop right ear over to right shoulder. Come back up. And do that 4 more times. You might be going a little bit quicker than me. If that's the case, you might get a couple extra in. Not a big deal. You might be going a little slower. And that's fine too. Now switch. Palm faces towards you. Push the back of the hand away from your armpit. Right ear to right shoulder. And back up. And a couple more times. Two more. Yeah, then straighten out through the left wrist, lower the left fingertips towards the floor, either drop right ear over or use the right hand to help pull up and away. Now with this, you're not trying to yank your head off with your right arm, but instead encourage up and away, and you'll notice that that creates more sensation anyway. Breathe long, slow, easy breaths. And feel free to spin the chin slightly down or slightly up, but make sure that you're leaning the head towards the right as you do this. Try to let the exhales help you be provided with some sense of relief. And then to come out of this, right hand helps the skull back up through center. And we'll transition from here into a tabletop. So if you're sitting on something, just move that out of the way, probably towards the front of your mat, somewhere that it won't be in your way. And then start by taking your hands and pointing them towards opposite sides of your mat. Left hand to the left, right hand to the right. And of course, if you're not on a mat, if you're on a carpet, whatever, doesn't matter. Start by hands a little, shoulders distance apart. Rock from side to side a few times there. And as you do this, keep some push through your shoulders. So rather than hunching down into the chest, think of lifting up away from the floor. Now walk your hands a little bit closer together. If you can get your wrists to touch, great. Grip down through your fingers a bit. Lean forward. Think like your hands are the center of a clock. You're leaning towards 12. Go clockwise to 3, back to 6, over to 9, and forwards. Do that 2 more times. And once you arrive back at 12, go the other way, counterclockwise towards 9, 6, 3, 12, 2 more. Perfect. And take your left hand to point forward. Maybe the right hand stays pointing to the right, or if you can, you'll spin your right fingers back towards your knee. And we do 3 rounds of cat and cow here. So drop your belly, reach your chest forward, lift your chin and your tailbone up. And then switch directions. Tuck your tailbone in, pull your ribs up away from the floor, tuck the chin, look towards your belly button. Again, inhale, arch or cow pose. Exhale, round, cat pose. One more with this hand position. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Switch, right hand points forward. Left arm spins either to the left or straight back towards the knee. Inhale, arch the spine, reach the chest out, lift the sits bones. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. One more. Good, now flip both fingers back towards your knees. You might even have to walk your fingers significantly closer to the knees. Sit back towards your heels. Let the palms gently lift off the floor. And this might be enough just to breathe into this. Those of you that can, start to bend into your elbows one at a time to intensify the stretch. Or you could just rock from side to side if that's more interesting. About 5 more seconds here. Okay, now flip your palms so that they face up towards you and slide your ring finger and middle finger around your knees so your thumbs point towards one another. Sit back towards the heels a good bit, lower your elbows out towards the sides, and then straighten the arms as best as you can and try to hug your elbow tips back so your elbow creases point forward. Do that again, bend the elbows. Straighten the arms, bend the elbows, Straighten the arms, and even keep doing this a couple more times. As you do this, most of the weight is in the legs here, so you're not killing your wrists. You're just working to stretch them in probably a new angle. Good. Then release that. Make 2 fists with your hands and place your fists together so that you can set the backs of the hands down on the floor. And similar idea. Start with the elbows flat on the floor or close to it. And then straighten your arms as much as you can without pain. And this one should be, not should be, but it'll probably be pretty intense. Rock from side to side a bit. I like to lightly press my knuckles into one another to create a little bit more sensation. If that's good for you, go ahead. All right, and then release all that. Give the hands a quick little shake. Find a tabletop position. And then with your left hand, grab behind your head. Take an inhale, swivel your elbow up towards the sky. Think of opening the chest up away from the floor. And exhale, left elbow towards your right thumb. Close off. Inhale, swivel open. Exhale, close off. One more time, inhale, open up. Exhale, close off. Now straighten the left arm as you one more time rise up. And thread your left arm through, dropping your left shoulder to the middle. Left ear to the mat. Right hand forward. Give a little push with your right hand so that your hips slide back in space. Let the chest sink down towards your left bicep. A couple of easy breaths here. One more inhale. One more exhale. Slip your right hand back in. Unthread, reach your left arm up towards the sky just to counter. And then let that go, left hand down towards the floor. Switching sides, right elbow out to the side, right hand behind your head. Inhale, open up. Exhale, close off, elbow towards thumb. Inhale, open up. Exhale, close off. One more, open up. Exhale, close off. Straighten the arm and open up as you inhale. Reach the right arm through, drop right shoulder, right ear to or near the floor. Then extend your left hand forward. Push through the left hand to send your sits bones back in space. Let the chest melt towards the right bicep. And breathe spaciously. One more full breath. And then with the left hand, unthread, reach the right arm up. Inhale. And then close that off. Walk the hand just a bit more forward. Tuck your toes, lift your knees up, downward facing dog. And you can stick with your knees pretty bent, especially if down dog is not a familiar place for you. Working with more of a bend into the knees and working the chest back to the thighs is where you'll likely start off. And as that happens, you can begin to straighten one leg and the other. If you're very familiar with down dog, feel to freestyle this and add an extra movement as you like. Only be here for a couple more breaths. Good. Pigeon pose. Right knee towards your right wrist at the front of the mat, and then the right foot will come over towards the left side of the mat. So if you're way up here and you feel like you want the help of a block underneath your hips or bolster, or pillow, blanket, whatever you have, you can use that. But know that just because there's space, that doesn't mean it has to be filled. If you can, you'll walk your left leg back so the hips come a little closer to the floor, and then set your elbows down. If you weren't using the block for something else, you can grab that now and set your forehead down. You stay here about 1 minute. Again, try to use the exhales to help you settle and release deeper into the pose. Take 3 more breaths. All right, hands underneath your shoulders. Take back to a downward facing dog just for a moment. And there, it might feel nice to bend your left knee, straighten your right leg. I even like to turn the right toes out a bit and twist the body to the right. Still working into that right side body, but now a little higher up. Let's switch sides, left knee forward towards left wrist, pigeon pose. Left toes over to the right. Make your adjustments so that you can settle down into a fold. And this pose isn't really working into the hands like the theme of the video, but if you were sitting all day and the hips feel tight, this is a nice one to help unravel that. And likewise, if you were standing all day and your hips feel tight, this is still a nice one to unravel that. Remember to keep your breathing slow and steady. Even if these poses are intense, just when you're new to this stuff, it's all pretty intense. But just because the physical experience is intense, that doesn't mean that we have to identify with that or orient around that. We can choose to orient around something else, and what we use in yoga is the breath. So if the breath is calm and steady, then we can keep the mind calm and steady even when the postures themselves are challenging. One more breath here. All right, so if you did that down dog thing with the one leg straight and the other knee bent, you're going to go ahead and do that real quick here. If you didn't do that, then our next place is going to be lying down on the belly. If you are doing the down dog thing, turn your left toes to point out, bend your right knee and slightly twist your chest to the left. And then let's transition laying down onto the belly. You'll go with your left arm, extend it out to the left, hands about the height of the shoulder. You might go a little higher or lower if that feels good. I like to use my block for this one, so I'm going to have it handy. Roll over onto your left hip and reach your right foot towards the floor behind you. So you get the feeling like you want to try to drop your right hip, the one that's on top, towards the floor behind you. You might even walk your right foot in a bit closer and let your knee go further backwards to intensify. And if possible, you can use your other leg to kickstand your right thigh. Now, an alternative to this, let's say if all of that was just too difficult for you, you could still have your left arm behind you and instead just bend your knees in front of your chest like this so the knees are in line with the hips, and then the right hand can act like support. On the other side of that, if you want to intensify, throw your right arm behind your back. Just a couple more breaths here. All right, and then release back onto your stomach. Switch over to side number 2. So the right arm's going to go out to the right. I'm going to move my pack out of the way. You'll lay on your right-hand side, doing whatever variation of the legs gives you the support so that you can relax into your chest and front of the right shoulder. Long, easy breathing now. All right, then release out of that. And then a couple of different options from here. Option number one, if you like child's pose, you could bring your toes together, your knees wide, sit back towards your heels and settle into this space to close out. If you want to lay on your back and do Shavasana, which is extending your legs and your arms out by your sides, you could do that. Otherwise, you could come back into a seated position. We're just going to close with a couple of deep breaths to complete the practice. So take a moment to settle yourself wherever you end up. And try to feel that wherever you are, it feels restful. It feels not busy. Your body feels unbothered. And if there is sensation like you're in child's pose, it's minimal enough that it doesn't distract you. We'll close with Samavriti Pranayama, or square breathing, where the inhale, the retention after the inhale, the exhale, and the retention after the exhale are all spaced for 4 seconds, which creates a nice even box. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through the mouth. We'll keep the lips sealed. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. Pause. Do one more cycle. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. Pause. Inhale. And exhale. So of course, if you feel like you're in a good place to continue meditating or to do whatever else you want to do after this, have fun, have at it. Thank you for joining me for today's practice. Thank you for tuning in. If you want part 2, let me know down in the comments. If you haven't already, make sure that you're subscribed, you like the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Namaste.